All right, let's bring the music down. Let's get things started. Whoa! 7 likes? 8 likes? Oh! Alright, are we back? Okay, perfect. I just got that on my side, so it should be fine for you guys. It should be a bit smooth now. There should be no buffering or any type of well, yeah, buffering. I don't know if there's lagging on your ends, but to me, on this, okay, yeah, I think. All right, we have great connection here. Perfect. Okay, so what a week it has been, guys, right? Just an absolute explosion in market vol. We can clearly see you know, the overall volatility index of the S&P 500 seeing a huge pop to the upside. Again, that's just clearly telling us that there's elevated levels of volatility and the fact that the overall markets are moving rapidly to the downside. So it's a quick correction. It's essentially what's happening here. Now, as seen in the title, and if you guys haven't read the description box below, make sure you guys read that first. But as it said in the description box below, we will be going over the volatility index in depth today and kind of explain in layman's terms as to what you guys should be looking out for and what could be possible in the next couple of weeks and maybe into next few months. But first, let's take a look at the overall markets overnight. So the S&P 500 is getting a bit tight. Obviously, there isn't a lot of volume right now because I mean there is no volume right now. Usually, practically zero volume for the futures market. And then once we get that Asian the Asian markets open, we should be seeing a lot more injection in volume, which is happening around, I believe, 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. if I'm not mistaken, Pacific Standard Time. So that's the usual, but the S&P 500 futures, very interesting price action so far. Again, clearly telling us that there is very wide trading ranges every single trading day for the past I would say 5 trading days. Okay, or even 6. Okay, 6. You know, after this rapid decline, we got 1, 2, 3 more days of wide ranges, and I wouldn't be surprised if this current candlestick, which will carry on over to tomorrow, will also have a wide range as well. So now, if you go over to SPY, right, the S&P, let's see, okay. Okay, I think we might be having a little bit more difficulty here with the audio. Is anyone else having problems? I think on my end here I have a little bit of an audio problem, but I think we're good now. Okay, I think we're good. Alright, so for the S&P 500 here, we are now stuck in between this range here of 524 to 532.50. So this is a new area of supply. Previously, it was an area of demand, right, where we saw the price consistently sticking close to these two levels and just range trading, literally range trading between 524 to 532.50. And then once we broke over 532.50, we immediately used this breakout level of resistance into a new level of support. Okay, hey Adriana, what's up? Oh, we're at almost 10 likes there. We're only in like 4 minutes to the stream. Awesome. Welcome guys, welcome. Awesome. So, all right, it's perfect. Perfect. Okay, the audio is good. I can hear it on my recording here. Perfect. Okay, so the S&P 500, again, this 532.50 level is going to be very significant because of the fact that previously, back in, the last half of May, what we essentially got was the price sticking underneath this 532.50 level and consistently getting rejected at this level or area of resistance. So maybe tomorrow we might be seeing a immediate rejection at 532.50 because I'm going to expect to see the price retesting this 532.50 level. However, we have yet to hit and retest the daily 10 SMA, which is nearly caught up to the price, right? We broke below the daily 10 SMA back on August 1st, so the first day of this month, and we haven't been able to come back to retest it because of how rapidly we dropped to the downside. And so I also wouldn't imagine the price easily breaking over 532.50 tomorrow and then heading all the way up to retest this falling, again, keyword is falling, daily 10 SMA, which closed at 534.68 today. Now, why is that keyword falling important? Well, because my short-term momentum SMAs, my daily 10, my red line here, my daily 21, my light blue line, are both falling and declining, which means we are officially in a downtrend, not an uptrend. We are in a downtrend. And so whenever we decide to retest either of these two SMAs, we'll most likely see a rejection because these two short-term SMAs are now used as an area of SMA resistance. Does that make sense? Right? And as long as we can get back over to above the daily 10 and daily 21 SMAs rather, we should be continuously seeing a move to the downside. So unless we see a retest and reclaim of the daily 10 and the daily 21 SMAs, we will continue to move lower and use both of these two short-term momentum SMAs as an area of SMA resistance. So tomorrow, again, there's a possibility that we can see another big wide price ranged day, just like we've seen this entire week, and break over this 532.50 level and move up higher until we retest the daily 10 SMA. Hey, Ash number 2, what's up, man? What's up? So guys, for everyone who's just joining in, we basically just began, so you haven't missed out on anything too important, but make sure you guys smash that like button below because it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Oh, 10 likes! Wow, we have reached 10 likes and we haven't, well, we just began. So thank you guys. 10 likes in 10 minutes. Awesome. I think that's a new record. I think last time we streamed, we had a record viewership of the stream, so very nice to see. I think we reached like 25 people. All right, so back to the topic at hand. So what we have here again is the probability of a wide price range day, which I will explain why that is the case when we look at VIX. But just know that there is a possibility for us to reject 532.50, but at the same time, there is a huge possibility that we can continue to move on up higher and retest at the minimum the daily 10 SMA before seeing a massive rejection back to the downside. So I would imagine that tomorrow, it's Friday, right? So at the end of the week, most people will most likely try to sell all of their positions that they've entered in the morning before the market close. So that can provide some, maybe like an hour before close sell-off, or maybe the last 30 minutes, who knows? Okay, I'm just predicting here and speculating, but that's definitely a possibility if we do decide to break over 532.50 and then retest and then reject off of this daily 10 SMA, creating a massive top and just nasty wick for Friday's candlestick. Okay, now let's head on over to the main topic of tonight, the volatility index of the S&P 500 or VIX, ticker symbol VIX. So if you guys aren't subscribed to the Market Trends newsletter, make sure you guys DM me at ChartsFocus1. It's a free newsletter that comes out once every month, and it kind of does a deep dive with general information as to what you guys should be looking out for, or at the very least, keeping in mind of what can occur in that specific month. So it's a monthly newsletter. It's a free newsletter that you guys can opt in and just get a general sense of where the market could be heading for that specific month. So again, it's not specific information that I provide in the CFO Sringer Watch report that comes out every single week, but this newsletter is a bit more of just a general newsletter with general information and kind of giving my surface level thoughts and opinions as to what the general information says, and give you guys a kind of a short to mid-term guidance for the rest of the month. Okay, so the new market trends newsletter was just sent out for the month of August. So if you guys missed out on that, make sure you guys DM me on Instagram with your name, okay, your first and last name, and your email address. That's all I need. Okay, that's all you need to opt in to this free monthly newsletter. And I know some people in the audience right now who are watching this live stream have definitely read that market trends newsletter for August, so let me know how it was. All right, okay, so the VIX here, there are 3 points that I want to show you guys here for the monthly time frame for VIX. So the first one is the Great Financial Crash, GFC of 2008. The second one was the most recent one 4 years ago, the COVID crash of 2020. And then so far, we are in a market crash, but this huge market expansion of volatility of August, right, of this year. And so this is the third largest pop in market volatility since 2020 and 2008. And that's very interesting because these are the 3 biggest pops that we've had since, well, for the 2000s essentially. So for the 2000s, these 3 have been the biggest market volatility expansions for this millennia of 2000s. So it's very interesting to see. But what's particularly interesting about this is that once we got a nice big pop, we saw an immediate move to the downside. So basically we saw a very big crush in the overall market volatility as it dropped back down, and we saw the overall market ranges finally getting tighter and tighter and quote unquote calming down. And so with all this in mind, right, for the fact that these 2 biggest pops in the past few years, right, we've seen an immediate crunch back down. Now, if I go back on the daily time frame for the VIX, let's focus on our current market volatility expansion. There are some values that you guys should be looking out for VIX. So make sure you guys write this down, okay? So whenever VIX, well, for the past 4 years, and this should only apply to the past 4 years, including this year, the past 4 years, we've been seeing VIX staying at historic lows of 12 to 13, okay, or 12 to 14 if you guys want to keep it even. But the lows were set at 12 through 13. And that was when the markets were easily grinding up higher with higher highs and higher lows without any problem whatsoever. Now, another value that you guys should understand and know is the value of 20 on the VIX. So generally, this is generally accepted for VIX. Whenever the VIX reaches and hits that value of 20 and moves higher than 20, that indicates that market volatility is about to expand very rapidly, and we're about to see a huge spread in the bid and ask for the overall markets on every single trading day. And that also indicates at the same time, simultaneously, that the markets are most likely going to head for a correction if the VIX continues to stay at or over the value of 20. And usually, when the VIX does rise to this value of 20, it rapidly moves on up higher to the next few values. And that's exactly what occurred this entire week, right? And on Monday, we saw that rapid rise in market volatility as the markets continued to move rapidly to the downside. So in essence, guys, the S&P 500 volatility index is literally the inverse of the S&P 500. But there are still a little bit more onion layers that you need to understand, because again, when the S&P 500 volatility index expands, that also just simply means that the price ranges, right, the bid and the ask spread widens on every single trading day. Okay, it's not just the fact that the markets are going down, but the fact that the volatility of each single trading day expands, literally expands, right? So yeah, that's what I thought, Miner. I knew, I had a feeling it was you, but yeah, thank you for letting me know and confirming it. So the VIX here currently, right now, with that information in mind, okay, with those 3 different values that I just gave you guys, 12 to 13, and then the value of 20, the very important value of 20, we are still not trying to stay below 20, or even at the minimum reach 20. Yes, today was a great day since the S&P 500 moved in a very, very nice way. I think it ended up closing, it closed over 2% today from yesterday's close. But the fact of the matter is, the VIX is staying at highs. Unfortunately, we didn't even make a lower low compared to the previous low of the day. I told this to my private CFO Stream and Watch members in the CFO Discord earlier today when the market was live, that I was worried about the fact that yes, the market was moving up, but simultaneously I was very much worried that the VIX was not trying to even attempt to go back down to at least retest the previous lows on the VIX at 21.97 and or try to break below the previous low of 21.97. And in fact, our low was only at 23.36, and we continue to stick to this daily 10 SMA on the VIX. Now, the moving averages don't really matter. However, I will keep my eye on the daily 10 SMA for the VIX on the daily time frame because it matters to me, because it helps me understand that there is quote-unquote momentum for the market ball. That means market ball has another opportunity to have a second pop to the upside. And so basically, if you combine what I've just said here on the VIX and apply it to what I said earlier with the S&P 500, there is a chance that we can see another large red day tomorrow. So make sure you guys are always hedged, especially when you guys have current and existing long positions on any type of ticker that you guys are holding right now, like literally right now. So based on what I said with the S&P 500 and the fact that if we break over 532.50 tomorrow, this very critical level, again, there's a nice big range between 524 to 532.50. It's currently a supply range. If we do break over this upper range resistance level of 532.50, we can retest the daily 10 SMA, which we have not retested ever since we broke below the daily 10 SMA on August 1st. Then we can see a nasty rejection at the daily 10 SMA. Why? Because we're still in a downtrend. And if we do see a rejection, we can still see VIX popping to the upside, further confirming that market volatility is still at elevated levels. Okay, and so I wouldn't be surprised if VIX decides to pop back up over to 30 tomorrow and possibly even make another higher high, since essentially we did make a higher low compared to yesterday's low. Okay, so it's something that you guys should be worried about, but at the same time, that worry should turn into action, right? Actionable trades that you can make to hedge against your long positions that you may have or you might be holding right now. Does that make sense, guys? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if that makes sense, or smash that like button down below if this is all making sense. So that's the reason why I've basically titled this stream, What Happens to Market Volatility, right? So, to me, for market volatility now, in the immediate future, so tomorrow and maybe early into next week, I wouldn't be surprised if we make another higher high and higher low on the VIX before we finally see a smash down in VIX, and we can finally see some sort of a confirmation that the markets are ready to finally bottom out and reverse back up higher. And again, I don't know when that's going to occur, but there is a slight probability that this can occur either right before or after August's OPEX date. Okay, so if you guys don't know when August's OPEX date is, well, you guys should always know this. If you guys are trading options, you guys should know the OPEX schedule. Okay, that's something that you guys should very, well, you guys should keep up always. You guys should always keep up. That's something that I've always tell my students, to all my readers, especially when you guys are, trading options, right? So the OPEX date for August is August 16th. Okay, August 16th. And basically, we have until next week to determine whether or not VIX will finally crash down after either making a high, or it can try to crash down and crunch back down tomorrow. Okay, there's a chance that we can see that tomorrow if the markets continue to move on up higher after it has retested the daily 10 SMA. Does that make sense? Okay, again, my daily 10 SMA is this red line. If you guys have been with me for a few of these streams, or if you have watched my previous videos that's uploaded on this channel, which I highly recommend you guys to do, you guys will know that this is my daily 10 SMA. It's my simple moving average that I love to use. Agua. Some very good water. Make sure you guys are staying hydrated in this very hot summer that we're having this year so far. But yeah, so as we head into OPEX next Friday, okay, so August 16th, breaking news, is next Friday. So the markets have an opportunity to tell us whether or not it wants to base out into the end of this week, which is tomorrow, and into next week, and then have a chance to explode up higher either right before OPEX or after OPEX, and then the following week after OPEX, so next week, we can see that reversal finally occurring, especially as we head into September. And if you guys have been following me for the past few weeks, you guys should know why September is very important. Or if you guys remember last year, I gave you guys all a prediction. Okay, middle of last year, again, middle of 2023, I gave you guys a prediction that the Federal Reserve will most likely be looking for its first rate cut. Okay, its first rate cut for the interest rate, or the benchmark interest rate, or the federal funds rate. They're both synonymous names. In the third quarter of 2024. Right, I believe I said that in either early or mid-August of 2023. I clearly said that I'm going to most likely predict or get a gut feeling that the Federal Reserve will be cutting interest rates right before quarter 3 or during quarter 3. And so far, based on what the markets have been telling us, there is a huge probability that we can be seeing our first rate cut in the September FOMC meeting of this year. And guess what? September is still a part of quarter 3 of 2024. Again, September is the last month of the quarter 3 of fiscal year 2024. So I know some of you guys were listening very closely when I said that last year in August of 2023. So I gave you guys that prediction, and so far it's working out perfectly. So it's a little bit of luck, but there is that, the aspect of reading, right? Reading a lot of information and kind of understanding generally when the Federal Reserve could be looking for that first rate cut. And so far, based on all the data that we've been getting this week, And most importantly, last week, the Federal Reserve members are very comfortable with where they're at, right? I mean, this fall in the equity markets shouldn't really, worry them. I mean, they're not really looking at the equity markets to be looking for that quote-unquote emergency rate cut that everyone has been touting on FinTwit or on Twitter or X. So again, it really doesn't make sense that the Federal Reserve will be trying to look at the S&P 500 and how it's performing to determine their next action or next course for the interest rates. So again, they're going by data, month over month, okay, on every single economic data report. So that's something that you guys should also be tracking. But if you guys don't have the time, again, the CFO Streaming Watch report is there for you guys every single week to break down all of the data points and very significant reports that do come out every single week. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, if you guys DM me on Instagram at ChartsFocus1, that's my Instagram handle, you guys can get 50% off on your first 30 days. Okay, and I can guarantee you guys that it is worth it. So at least give it a try for 50% off for your first 30 days. All you need to do is DM me on Instagram. It's definitely worth it. Okay, I'm not just saying that just to say it. I definitely believe in it. Okay. Reminder, you got it. I'll do BA and AMD. All right. So that's it for VIX. But now, to finish off, okay, for the topics that I want to go over for tonight, IWM. So the Russell 2000 or the small caps ETF. So IWM has been holding the $200 psychological level once more. This is great, right? I love to see that it's holding. I mean, this is awesome, right? So on the Monday's candlestick here, we were able to retest the daily 200, and we were able to break over and stay over the 200 whole number psychological level. And for this entire week, we have not retested this 200 whole number level and the daily 200 SMA, right? So these two values of 200s are not liked by the bulls. So they're trying to keep it away. And they're trying to keep the price from ever hitting both of these 200 values. So that's very, very good news. Now, for IWM, I am still keeping my initial analysis, predictions, and thoughts that small caps still should have a stellar and spectacular rest of this year if, or I should say when, we do get our rate cut in September and possibly 1 to 2 more rate cuts for the rest of this year. Okay, and not to mention, but how much that they can actually cut for each single cut that they provide to the interest rate, the overall benchmark interest rate. It can be a 25 basis point interest rate cut or even a 50 basis points interest rate cut. Does that make sense, guys? Hey, welcome guys. Whoa, welcome. For everyone who's just joining in, I am kind of at the end of the stream here before I go into some of the tickers that the people in the chat have requested. But if you guys are just joining in, I have really talked about some very important points that you guys should know before the market opens tomorrow. Okay, I'm always doing this on every single stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so make sure you guys try to come in on time at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, but then again, you guys can just watch the recording, which will be uploaded automatically after the stream is over. All right, but for anyone who's just joining in, or if you guys are new, welcome. Make sure you guys smash that like button down below and make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because we are nearly at 400 YouTube subscribers. Yay! All right, I think we have two more left before we hit that 400 milestone. So again, Thank you guys so much for that. I mean, that's amazing to see. But hey, Hugo, what's up? Yeah, you're gonna have to watch the replay. All right. So for IWM, I'm still gonna hold the initial thought analysis and prediction that we should continue to do well into the end of this year, and I think this is providing us a very good dip buy opportunity. And most likely, we just moved way too quickly. That's also a possibility because we weren't able to hold this entire breakout move, and we actually ended up coming right back down to the previous ranges that were held and where we consolidated right above the $200 psychological whole number level. And so as long as we're able to break over this daily 50 SMA again, which will be a very big hurdle tomorrow as well, if the overall indices decide to move on up higher and retest their respective supply areas and major SMAs like the daily 50 SMA on IWM, or on the S&P 500 or SPY, it's daily 10 SMA. All right, and based on what I said with the VIX, you guys should be very cautious and always be hedged for a possibility of that huge rejection that can occur tomorrow. And I've already talked about this, so I won't repeat myself. Okay? So now, okay, just make sure you guys understand that, well, what I've said previously about August's OPEX. So we either decide to move and attempt to base out and reverse higher before OPEX, which is again next Friday, August 16th. I'm trying to be very dramatic here so that you guys remember that. August OPEX date for this month is August 16th, which is next month. Excuse me, next week. Okay, next Friday. So with that in mind, we should be seeing either, again, an attempt to try to base out next week, early next week, and then reverse higher on Friday of next week, or once OPEX week is over, then we can see the markets trying to reverse back up higher. All right, that's something that you guys should remember. Okay, I will also mention it on next week's stream, which is on Tuesday at the same time. All right, so minor, let me go over AMD first. So AMD is definitely still in a downtrend, but it is showing some relative strength, especially today when all the leaders, well, the leading groups and the individual leaders in each single leading group, like the semiconductors, were very strong, and AMD happens to be one of those leaders, right? AMD and NVIDIA, or some people like to say MU as well, Micron, but I'll just stick with those two, NVIDIA and AMD. So these two are the major leaders in the semiconductor group, which is also a leading group. And today, they're able to break over the previous high of the last candlestick here. So the PHOD, the previous high of the day. And I think for NVIDIA, it's the same. No, it wasn't the same actually. So AMD was alone here with MU, I believe, where they're able to break over the previous high of the day. So that's good. And today was also, okay, mind you here, also the first day where the price was able to reclaim and close over the daily 10 SMA. Okay, do you guys see this? All right, let me zoom in as closely as possible. Right now, the only thing that worries me is that, okay, for AMD, the only thing is the volume, right? The volume is going down as we are trying to attempt to reclaim over the daily 10 SMA, and that usually indicates that there is a possibility that we can't be seeing a rejection at the daily 10 SMA, and we can head on back down lower. However, let me just say this looks pretty good. So AMD, right, with this close over the daily 10 SMA, if you go back down to the 2-hour time frame, we have a solid hourly consolidation right in between 129, okay, 129, and I would say, let's keep it simple here, 137. Okay, how about that? Okay, 134 is that daily level that you guys just saw. But let me make it a bit more simple here. and a lot more easier on the eyes. 129 is the major level of support, and 137 is the major level of resistance on the intraday time frames for AMD. Hey, welcome guys, welcome. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button down below and also subscribing, because we're very close to that 400 milestone subscriber count on this channel. We have come a long way, guys. Okay, so for AMD, if we're able to break over 137, okay, there is a chance that the 2-hour 50 SMA will also act as an area of SMA resistance. So what I would ideally want to see is the price breaking over and converging with 137, this resistance level, and the 2-hour 50 SMA. So this one will definitely be some sort of a day trade tomorrow. If I were to be looking at this tomorrow, and maybe I will. But if we're able to consistently stay over and retest the daily 10 SMA as an area of SMA support again, then it's going to be a very easy swing trade to the next SMA resistance, which is this curling downward SMA, or my short-term 21 SMA. I've already introduced this SMA to you guys on the S&P 500 earlier in the stream, but at the same time, you guys should know that I love to use my short-term momentum SMAs, my daily 10 and my daily 21 SMAs. So minor, that is something that you should be watching out for AMD if you're looking to trade. Those are your possibilities and probabilities for AMD. So make sure you are also keeping a close eye and hawking the S&P 500 and the VIX. Okay, the VIX is very important, which is the reason why I'm talking about it, and I have talked about it extensively tonight. Okay, and last but not least, let's take a look at BA. So, BA, this one is crap, unfortunately, right? Very unfortunate, but the company right now is clamoring to get its reputation back, but the share price will not care about that, because it's now currently in a nice downtrend, and earnings was not able to save this. All right, earnings was not able to save this. I mean, horrible numbers here too. Right, it was a double miss on earnings and revenue, and they had other problems as well. And I think revenue was guided down, not revenue, excuse me, but the overall guidance was down too. Oh well, I'll look at it later. But from a technical standpoint, okay, again, just the overall company outlook and guidance just doesn't look good. The forward guidance on this company, because most people around the world have lost its faith in Boeing, and basically because obviously they lied to airlines, they lied to the pilots themselves, to us, right, the people who have suffered from their lies and their faults. Okay, so Boeing is not looking too good. So the price action is actually reflecting that right now, because on the daily time frame we have our typical bear flag. All right, so let me show you guys. Let me just give you a nice drawing. Bam, right, bam and bam. All right, we have a nice bear flag. Okay, so this bear flag will most likely end up breaking to the downside. Obviously, it's a bear flag, but at the same time, it also broke out of this ascending support trend line that it has been creating for 3 full months. So this is an actual great breakout to the downside, and this bear flag is just telling us that we want to continue this downtrend, right? We want to continue to make another second leg lower. The first leg lower was the actual breakout to the downside from this ascending triangle chart pattern, or this ascending support trend line. So currently we're basically making a Momo bear flag, right? And why is it a Momo bear flag? Because we're now easily consolidating around this 167.50 horizontal support level as we're waiting for the daily 10 SMA to catch up. But there is a chance that we can see Boeing continuously moving lower and breaking out of this bear flag before it decides to retest the daily 10 SMA or to give enough room for it to catch up. So if we now go to the details of BA on a 2-hour time frame, right? This bear flag will most likely provide us with a nice breakout to the downside once it's able to break below 163. That's right. This is the only level that you guys should be looking at for Boeing. Right? And as long as we continue to create this Momo bear flag, if you do see the price breaking below 163, that is your go, right? That is your go alert to execute a short position on Boeing as it breaks below 163 with a good amount of selling volume. Okay, so there has been a recent injection of volume from earnings, and obviously this rapid move back down, and obviously this breakout to the downside. And so the average daily volume continues to climb up, but I need to see another large selling volume bar if we were to see the price retesting 163 and breaking below 163. So Boeing, very nice miner. This one would definitely be on my watch list here. This is a great looking, textbook looking Momo bear flag, and it should provide us with that second leg down. Okay, and if you do break below 163, I will want to take profits at 157. I believe this level was a huge level that I pointed out back in I think last year, or last year actually. Yeah, in 2022. Yeah, 157. No, in 2020 actually. So 157. Yeah, this is the 2020 level that I made. So 157 will be most likely going to be my profit target for a potential short position below 163. Now, even on the weekly time frame, guys, Boeing looks absolute crap. Like it's shit. Right? So Boeing last week's candlestick, massive move down, and it seems like this week's candlestick is just a simple consolidation of what happened last week, and it can continue to move to the downside and ultimately give us another second week of negative returns for this stock. So 157 will be, it's kind of a line in the sand level, basically, since back in 2020, that was kind of the area where the price was trying to hold and eventually catapulted away from this 157 support level. So again, very simple. Break below 163 and exit at 157. Alright, so miner, I gave you that very simple game plan for Boeing, and always make sure you have your respective stop losses that you are able to tolerate if you decide to get in this simple short trade. All right. Does that make sense, guys? I mean, I know Miner is the one that gave us this these two tickers, AMD and BA, but hopefully you guys are able to use the technical analysis that I did for both of these two tickers and possibly give you guys a potential swing trade or day trade idea in the near-term future. All right, so make sure you guys use all of the technical analysis that I've given you guys to the best of your ability, right? Just apply to the best of your ability. And again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram or on Discord or on Twitter. I am there. I have the same handles for every single social media platform that I am currently on. Okay, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter or X. Okay, charts focus 1 without any spaces. All right. All right. And Miner, I will do Baba in the private CFA Discord, but I will be finishing this stream up now. We are approaching nearly an hour of the stream here, so hopefully you guys have been, again, enjoying the streams, enjoying every content that I put out to you guys. I do my best to provide you guys with the most up-to-date and, most importantly, valuable and applicable information. So If you guys are following my Instagram, most importantly, make sure you guys are always watching my stories every single trading week. I've always said that for the past 4 years. Okay, so make sure you guys are always watching my Instagram stories or my posts. Alright, have a great rest of your night, guys. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for even joining in tonight. Hopefully this stream was very helpful. And hopefully I'll see you guys next week on Tuesday at the same time at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for watching. Good night and good luck tomorrow.